The action film on BBC1 tomorrow evening is Skin Game, with James Garner turning the tables on the slave traders of the American Deep South by selling his partner to the highest bidder and rescuing him as soon as the money changes hands. A profitable business until their livelihood is threatened by John Brown and his band of liberators. Skin Game tomorrow at 7:05.
In a couple of minutes' time, BBC1 will be taking a turn on the magic roundabout. Now, though, the news for us here in the south. Good afternoon. 2 Labour MPs are calling for a common statement on the exercise conducted during the night to test the deployment of cruise missiles based at Greenham Common. A convoy, including a missile launcher, left the base just after midnight and returned 4 hours later. Some of the women peace protesters from Greenham chased the missile launcher and support vehicles as they left the base. They were stopped by the police, who sealed off roads surrounding Greenham Common. Meanwhile, women peace protesters have staged a demonstration at the entrance to the Marconi factory at Waterlooville, where torpedoes are to be built. They handed out leaflets to workers when they arrived at the factory. Now they say they'll set up a Greenham-style camp next to the factory. Vandals have caused more than £3,000 worth of damage by catapulting ball bearings and wheel nuts through shop windows in Reading. They attacked the Southern Electricity Board offices, a hairdresser's shop, and an insurance broker's office. The police found the wheel nuts and ball bearings inside the smashed shop windows. Complaints from housewives about overcharging in supermarkets are on the increase, according to Dorset's trading standards officer, Mr. Geoffrey Roberts. In a report today, he says in many cases goods on shelves are more expensive than advertised. He says it's often owing to the fact that stores employ school children to price groceries and fill shelves without adequate supervision when key staff are on holiday. Plans to sell off the warship builders Vosper Thornycroft have come a step nearer today with a fact-finding visit by a government minister. Mr. Norman Lamont, the Minister of State for Industry, toured the Woolston yard and later confirmed his visit was connected with proposals to privatise the company. Finally, a Brighton man is to sue the Ministry of Defence because he says he was used as a guinea pig during nuclear tests in the 1950s. The former serviceman now suffers from cataracts, a result of radiation. More news in South Today at 6 o'clock.
And these are the programmes we have for you during the next couple of hours, which include Laurel and Hardy, the final part of The Kitchen Warriors in Jack and Ori, and the return of Captain Zepp with a new series of adventures for the space detective. And it's followed by part 1 of an adventure based on a story by Jules Verne, revealing the secret of Steel City. But first, we take our ride on the Magic Roundabout.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? Me. What are you on about? Really? I've decided I've been too modest in the past. I am the greatest. She's gone dotty. Now just you listen here, madam. Yes, dear boy. Dougal didn't know how to put it, but luckily Brian came along. Trouble? No, not really, said Dougal. It's her. Says she's the greatest. Like Mahatma Ali? Yes, the greatest and the strongest. What shall we do? Have a contest, said Brian. Oh, yes. Yes? Brian put his mind to the contest. He found a rope. Oh, that's lucky, he muttered. And he took the rope to the contestants. Nearly. Oh, what happened? He tried again. Oh, dear. Now, you take that end, and you take that end. Ready? What for? Said Dougal and Ermintrude. Tug of war, said Brian. Tug of war, then, said Dougal. Ready when you are, dear, said Ermintrude. Don't mind me. I'm only the referee. Let's go, said Dougal. Ow! Oh, 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 oh,
I should have stayed in bed.
Hey! Brian explained the principle of the tug-of-war. Ready? They were. No, wait a minute. Yes. How do we know who's won? Asked Dougal. A good point, dear. I mean, we could be here all night pulling away. Do ourselves a damage. I'll let you know who's won. Then let's get on with it, said Ermintrude, before everyone switches off. Right. Florence was as usual meeting Zebedee, who was late as usual. Late again. Don't get at me, said Zebedee, or I won't tell you what I was going to tell you. Oh, don't be mean, said Florence. I'm never mean, said Zebedee, but I think you should go to the garden. Something happening? Said Florence. You could say that, said Zebedee. Ermintrude, because she was biggest, had been given a handicap. She had to pull with a blindfold on. Dougal, because he was Dougal, had taken advantage of this. Laugh. I could eat a plateful. Oh, you should be ashamed, said Brian. That is cheating. I may have to report this to the MCC. Dougal noticed some apples on the tree. Oh, dear, he thought. Have I won? Said Ermintrude. Am I the greatest? Greatest what? Said Florence, doing a little dance. Greatest what? I don't think we'll go into that, said Dougal. Care for a pippin? Did you have to knock the tree down? Said Florence. Well, I'd try to explain, said Dougal, but you'd never believe me.
In 25 minutes, Laurel and Hardy find themselves in the world of Jack and the Beanstalk.